Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video here, I'll take a rock or a slab and I will make a cabochon out of it, and I'll take you through all my steps of how I do it from the rough rock to the finished cab. This week, all the way from Montana, a viewer named Heidi sent me some Montana agates. Let's make a cabochon. So this week's project is a Montana agate that Heidi sent. And she sent a bunch of them, but this one here's got really good dendrites in it. And the dendrites are the little black lines you see in there, and they kind of formed as the agate built. So we're going to get a really nice looking cab out of this. Now, this one will not end up on Etsy because I'm 99% sure she's going to want this one. And I went ahead and marked it because I know she likes large teardrops, and got it all ready to go. I use an ultrafine Sharpie because it follows the template really nice. It's got that nice little point on there. And we're going to take this downstairs. I'm going to trim it out, cut some of this stuff, excess off here, and then we'll take it over to the cabbing machine and start working it down. So I'll meet you downstairs. All right, we're on my little 5-inch high-tech trim saw here. Got the shape. We're going to try to carve this down a little bit. All right, that is close enough for me. Let's move over to the cabber. All right, we're on my Kingsley North 6-inch cabbing machine here. Got the shape. And what we're going to do is I'm going to grind it, starting with the 80 grit, and work it down close to the line. And then on the 220 grit, I'll take it down to the line. And then on the 280 grit, I'll clean up the marks from the 220 grit. Hopefully not from the 80 grit. They should be gone on this one here. So got myself a new wheel here. It's a textured electroplated diamond grinding wheel. Let's see how long this one lasts. I make a lot of cabs here, so this rough wheel don't last as long as probably normal people use. And then I ended up buying a sintered 220 grit wheel so I can sharpen it, because those weren't lasting long at all, the regular electroplated ones. So enough rambling here. Let's get started. Alright, got it on the 80 grit. Man, there's absolutely nothing cooler than having a new 80 grit wheel on a hard rock like this. It goes so nice. Alright, now we're going to move over to 220 grit and we'll grind down to the lines here. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I think we're good. Now, every once in a while you see me looking at the side of the stone, and what I'm looking for is when I'm cutting the side here, I don't want it angled like that. I want it kind of flat, or maybe that way, just a little tiny bit. Because when you get it angled like that, when you're grinding, you have a tendency to kind of lean towards the line and turn the stone to hit the line, and then you'll carve a angle in there like that. So when you dome it, it's not flat or angled in, it's like this, and I don't like that. I don't like it. So I try to look at it down the stone and make sure it's either flat or angled in just a tiny bit. So I like the way we're at here. We're going to move on to 280 grit now. Now, you're tempted just to go your normal time. On these really hard stones here, you need to stay on these two wheels just a little bit longer. And you'll see that when I start cabbing it. I'll stay on these two wheels a little longer, because you don't want any scratches in this, because you'll see them when you get to the end, and then you got to come back and start over again, and that's a pain. So, just kind of looking at the edge here. I can see some scratches in there still. Right there, I don't know if you can see, right there, I don't know if you can see that or not. And just a few right there. So we're going to get on this wheel a little bit longer. right, I'm happy with that. So now we're gonna put this on the dot pot, heat it up, put a stick on it, and then we'll come back and make cabochon out of it. All right, we're all dopped up here. That's basically what I'm doing is I'm gluing a stick with some lapidary wax to the cabochon here so it's easier to hang on to. So the plan is we're going to grind in a girdle. It'll be a flat spot on the bottom of the cab, about an 1/8 inch to 2 millimeter-ish all the way around. And then once we get that established, it'll be at an angle like this. And then we'll just kind of work our way towards the center. And then once we get close to the center, I'll start doming it. So let's get started. All right, that's close enough for the first one. I established the girdle. You can see it right there. Got my angle started there. And if you could see the smile on my face right now at how fast this wheel is taking off this very hard rock here, you'd be amazed. So now what I'm going to do is going to stay away from the girdle now. You established that. I'm going to hit this top edge here and start working my way towards the center of the cab here. All right, that is close enough for me. You can see a little flat spot up on top there, right there, but I'm going to start doming it now, and we'll just dome that right out of it. So let's start doming it. Just checking for curvature here. Just a little flat looks like to me still, so we're going to grind on a little bit longer here. All right. I think I'm going to take a little bit more off the top here. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's move on to 220 grit. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm just going to show you. With the clear stones, you can see it really good. There's all kinds of scratches in the top of this. These little white marks here. I don't know if you can see them, but all along here, you got to get those out, because if you don't get them out here, you're going to see them all the way to the very end. All right, just checking for big scratches right now. Very good. See, there's some right there. All right, gonna check for the bigger scratches here. And no, I'm not seeing anything. I think we're good now. On this wheel here, I'm gonna go ahead and round off my corners. Not just going to edge here. I'm not going to go all the way to the side or the face or the edge of this cab right here. See how we're looking here. A little bit more. All right, I think we're going to move on to the 280 grit. See what we got going here. Oh yeah, lots of scratches in there. So, gonna have to stay on this 280 grit for a while to get all these little scratches out here. I don't know if you can see them. All those little white lines in there are scratches from the 220 grit. Yep. Yeah, we're getting there. Gonna be a little bit there on the 280 grit still though. See how we're doing here. See a few. We're almost there. I see quite a few. All right, keep on grinding. Now we're doing here. There. There. Getting there. Yeah, if you don't get all the scratches out here, you're definitely going to see them on the polishing side. So just one of them things, you got to spend some time on these wheels here. All right, I think we got it. So we're going to move over to the polishing side here and continue on. All right, we're on the polishing side. Got a 600, 1200, and a 3000, and I got a cerium oxide disc around the corner here. So let's start in the 600. Let's check it here. All right, now we're going to move on to the 1200. Well, we're looking pretty good. Let's move on to the 3000. All right, now we're going to move on to the cerium oxide, but I'm not going to show you the cab till we're off of that. All right, this is a cerium oxide disc. It's a sticky disc that sticks to a pad that screws into the end of the shaft on my cabber here. I like it because it's replaceable, it's not messy, and it does a really good job. So let's get going. All right, let's see what we got here. A little paper towel, a little pant leg. There you go, Montana agate. Don't get much better than that. So I'm going to throw this in the freezer, get it off the stick, and then we'll take a close look at it. All right, let's see what our labor's produced here. There is the Montana agate right there. Look at the shine on that thing. Like you said, harder the rock, the better the shine, but man, it took a while to get all the scratches out from the 220 grit. I think we got the best cut of that rock right there. So I'm going to give Heidi a chance to take this rock if she wants it, since she donated it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure she's going to take it. And Heidi is pretty good at lapidary herself. Actually, Heidi does wire wrapping. And this is another cabochon I had made for her previously, and she had wire wrapped it and sent it back to me. And I think she does a very good job. Actually, I would say she's a professional at it. So if you're interested in Heidi's work, you can find her at Alluvial Wireworks on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll put a link below in the description if you want to check out her work there. But all I can say is she does a good job, and she's really fast. So there is what Heidi works on right there. So there's Cabochon, and like I said, I'll get a hold of Heidi and see if she's interested in taking it or not. So the other thing I wanted to show you is my wife recently retired, and she took up a hobby. And the hobby is we picked up a lot of sea glass, and then I have a lot of scrap from making the cabochons and stuff. So this is what she's doing here, is making these little frames with sea glass or manufactured sea glass. A lot of this stuff is broken recycled bottles that we tumble. And then all the rocks are rocks from leftovers from working on my cabochons. So she's got several different kinds here, and try to portray them the best I can. These are all in 5x7 frames. Well, actually 8x10 or something like that. I don't know. But they'll be on the Etsy page, and the link for the Etsy page is in the description down below. So try to show them here best I can. And she's for just starting out there, she's been doing a really nice job on them. Yeah, that's all the rocks are from scrap from my Cabochon operation, and cutting the 10 rocks in half. So if you're interested in these, like I said, you can see them on the Etsy page, and they'll be up this Saturday, as a matter of fact. Got them all inventoried and ready to go. So let's finish this up. So I hope you enjoy me watching it, making that cabochon out of that piece of Montana agate. I thought it'd come out pretty good, but it was a lot of polishing on this guy. It was really, really hard. Next week, I got one of Liz's rocks from the California rocks. She sent some extras, and we're gonna make a cabochon out of this one here. I think it's gonna look kind of cool there, that one. I showed you Heidi's artwork, and I showed you my wife's artwork. The address for Heidi's artwork will be in the description and down below. And the framed birds and flowers and stuff made out of sea glass, recycled glass, and rocks that off my offcuts and stuff that I have extra laying around will be in the Etsy page, and that's down below in the description. This video here will come out every Saturday, and I have another video where I cut rocks in half, and that comes out every Wednesday. So kind of go back and forth. I got playlists for them now, so you can binge watch easily without having to go in there and pick out videos. So at the end here, I'm going to put a video up, playlist. YouTube will put a video up someplace. Don't know exactly what. So if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Push the button down below, absolutely free. Slide over, give me a thumbs up. That gets the analytics out there so more people can find the content. And you can hype it, like it, and share it. And that would get me out even more. I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming along, watching. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.